Hello everyone, and welcome to the start of another Victory of Free campaign. First thing, a small organization matter. I'm going to try for this campaign, instead of releasing full 2-3 hour sessions on YouTube, maybe try releasing them in like 40-50 minute chunks, maybe a bit more often. We shall see how it goes. But anyways, let's get back to the start of the campaign. There's been a few ideas I've floated around which nation we could start as, but in the end, the voters, in a vote that would put the citizens of Malta to shame with how much strength each vote had. But anyways, the voters decided that the campaign for this season is going to be the Papal States, with the goal being to convert as much of the world as possible. So without further delay, let's get into it. I'm not putting any direct goals for this campaign because I'm not exactly sure how easy it will be to convert places. I haven't really played with this mechanic at all, so it's going to be pretty interesting to find out how it really works in practice, and also how converting places, like how to make the Papists finally win and convert Great Britain to Catholicism. I guess we just have to release states from them one by one until eventually they stop being a great power and we can protectorate them. It's like, it still would be a ton of infamy, but I don't really see a way to just directly conquer them. Of course, if it was the only goal of the campaign, it would be pretty doable, but it's Great Britain just being a part of the conquest compared to everything else. There's going to be so much going on, and also China and India. How do we convert those places? I'm actually kind of curious, so we'll see how it goes. It's certainly going to be at least interesting. There's going to be one limit, so there's it's not going to be a pacifist playthrough as much as most of the previous ones. It's more going to be more like the Spanish game with more warfare, unfortunately. Hopefully it's not going to be biting me in the ass too much. But I will be only allowed to directly control states within the more or less borders of the Roman Empire, because, well, that's only right for the throne of Saint Peter to rule over the Roman Empire. Everything else, I can make protectorate, I can make anything I want, but directly controlled land only within these areas. I guess Iraq as well. Let's go for the full, and Romania. The full borders of Trajan. Trajan? I'm not sure how you pronounce him in English. But anyways, another reason this campaign is going to be a bit interesting, probably the first episode is going to be fully just me talking about the Papal States and their start, which I think is fair for a new campaign, is we are supporting those guys. We don't really need both those. Curia is not going to be needing bolstering, let me tell you that. But anyways, because I will be staying as state religion and theocracy and religious schools, because we need that for conversion, the church is going to be so powerful throughout the campaign. It's going to be kind of crazy. Oh, also Papal States have Lazio, which is the Rome has a building that gives the clergy even more power, as if they needed even more. And it's actually pretty significant. It's like, what, 25%? Yeah, 25% total political strength just from this, not to mention all the laws. And it's... we don't really want to remove most of those laws, because we need religious schools for conversion bonus. Religious schools, I think, in general, is better than public schools, except for the one small thing that it gives a lot of power to the church, which you usually don't want. Because conversion, unlike assimilation, is actually useful. But yeah, we need the conversion. We need state religion, because if we even go to freedom of conscience, then Protestants and Orthodox are not going to be converted because they're going to be accepted religions. So we need state religion. And we need theocracy to stay Papal States, from what I understand. Otherwise we will just become Italy instead of Kingdom of God. Also, we need those laws in order to enforce them on our subjects, so they will actually convert their pops for us, because we cannot control their word directly. So that is going to be pretty rough. I never had a playthrough when the, let's say, more conservative interest groups actually stayed so much in power for the campaign. I would be surprised if the clergy at any point went below 20% during the campaign. Landowners will go down pretty quickly, mostly because we do start very small. Our population is like, yeah, not even 3 million. So the peasants are going to be removed pretty quickly. But what happens then is going to be interesting. I'm not sure how the interaction, what's going to be the second most powerful interest group in such situation. Also bearing in mind that the clergy interest group is not going to be taking only the clergymen, nor peasants, nor landowners. There's also other people coming in here. And I'm not sure how it's going to affect other interest groups. So are trade unions going to be relevant? Are rural folk going to be relevant? Or are the clergy going to steal all the pops from them? I'm not exactly sure, so that's going to be interesting. There's a lot of bad things going on with papal states at the start. They have traditionalism. They have some institutions, but they have national militia, which sucks for our current needs. As in, we will want to have a fairly significant army so we can actually have prestige to become a major power. And we might even try to rush it early, because it's going to be even more difficult as time goes on. So we shall see. We do start with okay-ish institutions, except for maybe the local, how's it called? Local police force is not great, but otherwise the institutions are going to be cheap, so we're going to be probably focusing on them. Charity hospitals kind of suck because, and yeah, with powerful clergy, I'm not sure how we even change it into something else. We would have to go into no health system, ideally, and then switch into public health insurance with the support of clergy. So maybe if industrialists become powerful enough, seems to be the only way to do it. We shall see, that's going to be difficult. And when it comes to the actual lands we own, they suck. We have no coal, we have barely any iron, not about that much wood, to be honest. We have some sulfur, more than we need, but sulfur is actually not that great anyways. We have barely any industry to start with. Very small military and its militia as well, so we could in theory get a lot of conscripts, but at this point of the game the recruitment of conscripts is so slow, it's not even that worth it, to be honest. Later on the national militia can be pretty decent. The starting tech is okay-ish, but that's for Europe, I don't think it's that great even then. So yeah, we have the stronger rivals of Sardinia, Piedmont, and two Sicilies to north and south, which is not great. We will have to avoid becoming a republic from the Italian events, which I have never unified Italy, so hopefully I don't run into something silly that causes me to change my government. But I have to pray about that. Then we will have to play with the power block mechanics of the how is it called? The religion union? Religion convocation. Oh, one thing from the previous campaign, Algical Union actually gets a power for block leader, yeah, to impose the same governance principle. I haven't really used that, but I'm not sure if in practice it would have been that good. Though definitely would have been good to try using that, other than just going straight to war to impose my government principles, especially since this doesn't change the cultural laws. It requires like 50%, what's it called, cohesion? But still, it would have been interesting to try, which I forgot, unfortunately. We cannot form the power block just yet. We will probably do it as soon as possible, because one thing the religious convocation has is plus 25% clergyman investment pool contribution efficiency, which is a pretty random bonus, to be fair, but it is interesting. We'll have even more conversion and even more strength to the clergy. We shall see how it works out. The civics of the religious convocation are not great. I mean, I'm not sure how much higher the diplomatic proposal acceptance is for this. Impose same church and state law is probably going to be important for us. Simply because then we can maybe force people to... Yeah, we need to convert people and then force the same church and state law on them so they actually convert everyone to our religion. So we might have to take this. This is interesting. Competitiveness, I'm not sure like it matters that much. Radicals and loyalty law is good. This is interesting. I would have to... So clergymen with the bonus from this, I think, become better than aristocrats, but they're still going to be worse than capitalists. Do we have any financial buildings? Probably not. We have only manor houses. And yeah, it's 100 probably, right? I cannot actually see. Still, actually, those clergymen might be somewhat decent with the bonus. We shall see. Are there any positives to being papal states? Well, they actually are. Few. But they are there. We do have appointed bureaucrats to start. And out of all the conservative, or maybe the interest groups that start in power, I think the clergy is the least annoying. Like, landowners obviously are the main stopping force for most of the game. The rural folk I actually hate with passion because they're just so annoying and they actually tend to stay around till the end of the game. But clergy, the good thing about them is they don't care that much about a lot of the stuff that's relevant. So this is just institutions. This is annoying, but not too bad. We can actually use it for our advantage, possibly, if we manage to remove charity hospitals at some point. Patriarchal is not that big of a deal. Legal guardianship in the beginning of the game, I think you really want it anyways. So it's not that much of a problem. Pontifical, which is, I think, specific to the papal states, which means I think they prefer theocracy over monarchy, which is usually the other way around. But we want theocracy, want state religion. National supremacy is not great, but also it's not terrible. So yeah, they just don't care at all about economy. They don't care about taxes, they don't care about trade, the economic system, the peasants, which I think they, for example, for Russia, they care about land reform. But they don't care about a lot of stuff. They don't care about military as well, unless the leader has some kind of ideology. So that is pretty good. The other thing that's nice about the papal states is they have their own specific landowners ideology, which is, well, they like theocracy. And there's not that many differences other than they don't care at all about the economic system. Which, as you can see, puts really not that many people caring. Currently, the only people who actually care about economy are the rural folk. So yeah, I just shit-talked them and now they're actually being useful. Because agrarianism is not great. It's certainly 1000 times better than traditionalism. And also we will have bonus to clergyman investment pool. Long-term laissez-faire is probably going to be better anyways, just because it's not just about the money, but additional company and better interest rate are really, really good as well. But for some time, agrarianism is going to be perfectly workable. So this is going to be probably our first goal. And yeah, well, we have to hope to be able to fairly easily form Italy without too many of the problems. And then, who knows, maybe expand into Africa first, convert some Muslims, and then we'll go to the heretics of England. Let's look at the religious map mode, so we can compare it later on as time goes on, and maybe we get some successes. As you can see, there's a lot of work to be done in the world. And we probably will have to be pretty active in colonization of Africa. I will, so I said that I only direct control of states that would have been within the borders of Roman Empire. Colonization is fine, but I will have to release those nations as colonial nations as soon as possible, or given to vassals. But colonization is fine, as long as it's the only way. And even in South America, there's a lot of work to be done, but I hope the pious members of South America are going to work on those themselves. But yeah, United States, How doable would it be? Not sure. We shall see. Definitely a lot of work in Africa, a lot of work in Asia, and of course Europe is going to be also a lot of work. So yeah, let's begin by changing our government to something that includes rural folk, if at all possible. Maybe also get the landowners in. Hopefully they don't get any stupid edicts in. That's another really nice thing. We start with oligarchy, and probably I think there's like you either go straight to universal suffrage in games, or you stay on oligarchy or technocracy, which are pretty much the same thing, except some small differences in political strengths of pops. And this is because they have -10 legitimacy from ideological incompatibility, which allows you to really create much more varied governments. Autocracy, for example, has +50% penalty from ideological incompatibility, which basically forces you to make governments with at most 2 interest groups, which can be pretty rough in a lot of situations. And then even the voting rights, you can see +20%, +20%, even census suffrage, +10%. And then even the universal suffrage has 0%, while oligarchy has -10. So that's actually, I think, it's pretty good. You do get some authority as well, which authority is going to be pretty nice for us. Not because of the taxes, because the consumption taxes are going to be not that much. Well, the Italians sure love their wine, but other than that, it's not that much to tax. There's just not that much money in our economy, but we can plop a ton of edicts or decrees all over the place, so definitely road maintenance. Also, the current pope is imperious. That's pretty nice. -20% decree cost. We definitely want promote social mobility for additional education access. We don't really need relief. Enlistment efforts could be actually pretty decent in case of a war, because that +25% conscription rate is pretty good. There's no way anyone's going to be migrating to us anytime soon. Because well, currently the Papal States is not that great place to live. This is actually not that relevant, because even if there's going to be someone to convert, we're going to be able to pretty easily convert them anyways, and assimilation, as I said before, is pretty worthless. We could think about maybe doing some kind of edicts on production. Probably, I think Umbria will have the iron mines, so definitely there. And do I want to focus wood or maybe more production from the arable lands? Looks like I will put the arable lands here and maybe wood production in Lazio, I suppose. So this is going to be a pretty good way to use our decrease, I think. Then yeah, let's just this and then maybe this. It's not worth much, but let's get anything. And what should we prioritize for tech now is the question. Skirmish infantry, definitely we might be getting into some wars around the unification, but it's going to be some time. We need nationalism at least. We will need railways relatively quickly, all things considered. Is there anything we really want to get from society? I don't think we're rushing anything. Companies would be nice, but there's not that much to build anyways. I think we will just go for railways first. Let's go this order, atmospheric engine first. We don't have any coal, so I'm actually not sure how much of it we will be able to use, but maybe we will be able to import a decent amount. We start with the wooden construction method, and we're probably going to be staying on it for a while, simply because we're not going to have enough iron to fulfill the demands. We are not producing any tools. Our market at this point is really bad, all things considered. And in this version of the game, it's actually pretty difficult to get into anyone's market. Like, sure, we could join the Metternich system, but that's not going to help us. We could maybe become the puppet of Great Britain. No, is there any trade union actually at this point? Could join the Ottomans. Zollverein, I guess. request to join. Is it even possible? We are economically independent from them. Yeah, they would have to actually want us to join. Spain has given Cuba Puerto Rico. The AI does it a lot. I'm actually... What did I set up as rules for the AI aggressiveness? Can I actually check this at this point? Game rules. Standard. Okay, no, AI aggression high. Sure. We shall see how it works. France, I think, started their... No, they didn't. Okay. Maybe they haven't started their own thing. Spain is doing God's work, thank you very much. So much stuff happening. Oh yeah, we need to make everyone in Italy like us as much as possible. And let's put this here and this here, maybe, why not? Because we will want them to be able to form... Let's get some rivals. Form Italy as soon as possible. And if no one else but us becomes a major power, I think it's pretty much guaranteed we just get it. And do I just start making France like me? Probably yes. Wait, why can't I do it? Oh, stock exchange. Right. So I'm still not sure how to work with investments. Probably we are playing on the newest patch, so we can just retake our the foreign investments in our lands with a war fairly easily in most cases. It's going to be different though for everyone who is within the Italian peninsula, because the goal is we will be annexing them anyways, so eventually all of those investments are going to come back to our nation, hopefully. That is the goal. Oh wow, we are missing a ton of wood, but that's to be expected somewhat. Yeah, maybe build a few logging camps. It's been a while since I played such a small nation. It is very different than even something like Spain. It's not tiny nation like, for example, Uruguay, which has barely anything. Though Uruguay, yeah, they have pretty much same terrible resource situation. Oh wow, the Ottomans are already going for it. So what is going to be different? Oh, they were trying to do homesteading. I don't think it's going to work out. Yeah, it doesn't look that good for them, unless someone joins. Oh wow, it's actually Austria and Russia supporting the revolt, and Great Britain supporting the status quo, which is interesting. I think at this point it's going to be crushed, but you never know with how AI actually joins wars like this. So this guy is going to be annoying, but this is probably going to be fine. I expect the landowners to lose power fairly quickly. Enact Polos. Oh wow, people really want it. And the war has already started. Oh yeah, we're going super fast because it's early game. Maybe speed 5 is a bit too fast. Okay, people are going to like us, hopefully. We could maybe try to make Austria like us, but I think going the historical route and sacking to France, even though they own Corsica, which is going to be something we want to take for ourselves eventually. Of course, it's rightful part of Italy. For the start, like Venetia and Lombardy are such high priority that probably will want those and even give up Savoy. Though we shall see for how long. And Provence is unfortunately not really simulated as a separate state, so it's so small we probably even want to get rid of it. It's not incorporated at the start? Oh, that's weird. They don't have any good resources anyway. Savoy has lead. This is actually pretty decent resource, but there's other places with plenty of it anyways. So it's going to be fine. At least as Italy we will have plenty of sulfur. Everything else is up in the air when it comes to resources, but sulfur we're going to be good on. So that's one nice thing. And now we're running out of paper. I will actually like to check out my trade routes. And I think it's all resources that we actually need to have anything in the market. Now, can I just import paper from someone? This early on in the game, it's sometimes very difficult to get any kind of resources. Especially since we're also paying bureaucracy for pretty much all of it as well. France, do you want maybe a trade agreement with France? Trade agreement. No, not yet. Okay, sure. We do have paper mills, right? Right, we do. Oh, and they are gaining population, so it should be fine eventually, I think. Yeah. Okay, good. Paper's not a problem. What is going to be a problem are tools, because we want to switch to sawmills. And we have no tools currently, so it's going to be probably the next building. 1 or 2. Guess 2 maybe. Get a bit more. We're using tools for this, right? No, actually this doesn't use tools as well. So maybe we'll finish this construction sector. We are losing money, and it's not much money, but with our budget it's actually pretty significant. Because we are also, since we are a minor power and we don't have laissez-faire, the interest is going to be pretty dangerous for us. We're already spending 10% of our money on interests, 10% of our expenses. Well, not counting the construction, I guess. So this is something to bear in mind. Wait, did I? Oh my god. Already forgot to actually switch to Ukrainianism. A great start. Great start. We lost like what? We started in 36, right? Actually, let me check quickly. I don't. Well, has it only been a year? Okay, it's only been a year. So okay, that's been the plan. I got so busy witnessing this war in the Ottomans. Somehow, who's winning here? Yeah, somehow they haven't captured Constantinople yet, which seems kind of weird to me. But yeah, once the land is actually controlled, the Brits are not going to be able to make any landing anywhere. Assuming they are even fighting. They are. Home army is, of course, fighting on the Ottoman clay, as you'd expect, naturally. We have this new thing. We could, in theory, use it if we have any dye. I think we could get it fairly easily. We could even produce it ourselves, if I recall. Yeah. Where is it? Yeah, there's. The Brits want to sell us some. Let's try it. We do have still some bureaucracy, so I think it's fine. Yeah. Don't really care. So I wonder how it's going to affect the Ottomans. Like, the early game is going to be interesting because AI... Oh, yeah, talking about AI doing wild stuff. We have war on Liberia. Okay, well, this looked way more interesting than it actually ended up being. Texas is already part of Mexico? Wait, what? Okay, well, it's probably not going to last, but it's interesting. We have Honduras, Nicaragua, and Guatemala, which they don't always form, interestingly enough. We have a debate. We do want to avoid having too many radicals, because the events for Italian unification can end up screwing us, but I think it's fine for the time being. Oh, I can definitely raise my taxes at least a little bit. Though, do I lose... I lose legitimacy. It's going to slow down. Yeah, I think I will keep it a bit lower and eat a bit more credit. I think it's going to be okay-ish. I'm going to start at the first tooling workshop. And I don't think we're currently using any tools in our market, so as soon as it's done, we are going to switch some lumber mills into actual tools. We are getting more babies from the Pope. Pope is encouraging more babies, which is usually pretty good, but on a population of about 2.5 million, it's not really that relevant. And let's switch this at 6. I think it's going to be fine. Yeah, they're going to be gaining a lot of employment, hopefully. Yeah, going into wrought iron tools is also going to be pretty nice, but we have no iron currently in the market, so this is going to be a bit of work before we get there. They should have decent enough qualifications because we are running the edicts. The literacy is already going up. Okay, the tools production is going up. Good. We have apparently pretty decent relations with France already, so how about the trade agreement again? Maybe you have given it some thought? No. Austria is proposing a defensive pact, but I don't really want defensive pact with them. Ionian Islands would accept, Sardinia Piedmont would accept, and that's interesting actually. Sardinia Piedmont, sure, let's go with alliance with Sardinia Piedmont. We'll see where it takes us. The hope is they will stay a minor power. In that case, they are not going to be any threat to us when it comes to unification of Italy. So becoming oh yeah, one thing I actually remember reading someplace is we start with a fine arts thingy, or maybe that's not correct, at least not for the... Okay, I think it's not correct for the current version. I read somewhere that in the past, apparently Papal State started with a Arts Academy. But we had one, maybe the capitalists removed it or something? And with just like 1 or 2 art academies, you can possibly become the #1 producer in the world, which could lead you to get a ton of prestige from it. If you got like a lucky event with getting prestige from like the poem or something like that, even for 5 years, it could be really useful. But we shall see. Like, agrarianism is by far the biggest priority right now. And we will work with other stuff as it goes. Bearing in mind to keep an eye on the investment pool so it doesn't grow too big. Also, I probably should allow privatization of pretty much everything. Everything I build, at least. Especially since there's no one else investing in the Papal States. So it's not that much of a big deal. We still have a ton of patents, so that's good. They're offering an opportunity that we don't really care about. Sure. Like, I could get eventually just for the loyalists, maybe, we shall see. Yeah, in case, actually, if they actually ended up hanging out for a while, it would be pretty nice to get them. If we have too many radicals and we are in danger of becoming a republic, we can just use that. And though London's oppose it, unfortunately. Oh, of course, -10. What a beautiful... I love that event. Dedicate the police force. That would be pretty sweet, actually. Also pissing off landowners, but weakening them as well. And I think landowners are going to be losing strength. Currently, they're unfortunately gaining. Maybe removing that bolstering of clergy was not as smart as I thought, but yeah, we need that authority. We are not running into problems with too much authority. We should be able to pass it eventually, in theory. Like, but at the same time, if I get another -10% on debate, it's going to suck a little bit. So we shall see. Ottomans are done with their little adventure. And nothing changed. They haven't started any war against Egypt. And I should speed things up a little bit. So we have our double workshops of tools. And they are even privatizing those places, so that's good. And here's the question, what do we go for next? Do we think about getting some iron mines at this point? Or just getting more logging camps? Which is also an option. How are the tools looking currently? They are pretty cheap, so let's switch those as well. You guys are getting some hardwood. There's no reason to be getting hardwood, actually. I don't think hardwood is used in any way currently in Italy. I think that's fine. Do I just build all lumber logging camps here? I think so. Just make the construction goods price go down as much as possible. And what is it currently? Yeah, it's positive, so definitely could make it go down. Actually, it's probably going to be a biggest priority is getting the fabric to go down somehow. Do I have anything? I could get some cotton plantations. Probably that's going to be the way to go. Because it's going to decrease the price of the construction goods, which makes more construction possible. Great Britain starting transfer subject in Oceania. Does France start with a subject there? Oh, Tahiti already starts a protectorate, okay. And conquer Madras. I would love it if it happened. It's probably not going to happen, but I would love it. Liberate Algeria and Brittany. I think this is going to end up in a white peace, because basically what needs to happen is either France conquers the India or London, or Great Britain conquers Paris, which I think neither of those is going to happen anytime soon, unless they end up negotiating for something. Liberia is now Great British Protectorate. Okay, wonderful. But yeah, the Protectorate plays with just switching them back and forth 5 times during the campaign. It's going to be happening a lot. And this is actually for a heightened aggressiveness. This doesn't seem that aggressive. We have a new pope. Unfortunately, this one is not as good with edicts, which is a bit of a problem. Our authority is pretty bad, but I don't think it's much of a problem. I think we can just tank it for a while. It's pretty bad. He does have a bonus to prestige, which is okay, but 5% is not much. Okay, minus 10 plus 10. I love those kinds of events from and enacting of laws. Minus 10 plus 10, minus 10 plus 10. Oh, gotta love it. And let's actually rush cotton plantations a little bit. We are starting to struggle a bit with fabric. And yeah, this is going to be pretty nice actually if we can get those here. 10 weeks, good enough. Should lower the price quite a bit. We are using wooden buildings, correct. In recognition of those industrialists, fine, but really doesn't matter. So I guess in this point we can increase taxes, because we're not having the legitimacy bonus to speed anyways, and I don't care that much about radicals and loyalists at the moment, and we have more loyalists anyways, so that's absolutely fine. Yeah, those cotton plantations are going to be certainly helping quite a bit. We are still spending more on wood, but got to do the higher price first, especially since it's smaller number overall, so should help more. We also still have convoys. Maybe I should try importing cloves from France. Like a fairly decent productivity, just to make people a bit more happy. This doesn't really matter, because the curse of small markets, there's like 5 luxury cloves, 16 being used, but the price is plus 75% because there's just such small numbers. Wine we can produce ourselves. Fruit is such small number. We could easily make it much higher, but we are low on grain anyways. We could make ourselves the fish-eating country. Actually, it might not be a bad idea to focus on fish for a little bit. This is going to be a Catholic roleplay as well. The price of tools is actually surprisingly nice. And I think we will be able to produce more even without iron. So that's good. Good for a slow start. Very, very slow. It's definitely not going to be a guide to speedrunning unification of Italy, especially since it's not ideal candidate for it to begin with. I think currently the Sardinia Piedmont is a better candidate than to... Oh my god! It's the worst possible option. And what I hate the most about the law system in Victoria Free, you can just get this very silly, never-ending loop of getting plus 10, minus 10, plus 10, minus 10 with no decisions to be made. Just have it happen, or you're lucky or you're not. And it's very annoying. What the... Oh, they're building 4 cotton plantations themselves. Really nice. congratulations to the private investments. Doing something useful for once. Wait, actually, maybe we should switch to produce more fish, but we would need more clippers. This would be pretty nice as well. We have tools for it, I think, so we can try. Political union. Sure. Whatever. Let's try to get more fish. Clippers are fairly easy to import, though I'm not sure if many people are producing them currently. Clippers. French market. We are still trading with French, and hopefully they will be able to accept the trade agreement eventually. Still no. We are starting to suffer a bit of bureaucracy. It's actually a ton. 11% tax waste. That's not ideal. If we got agrarianism, that would be really nice. Yeah, the investment pool would be much higher with this. Currently, there's barely any money in it. We got more authority, so that's fine. Getting banking next. Maybe I should have focused society a bit more. No, there's no real reason to rush nationalism because we have to wait for every other nation in the Italian peninsula to do it first anyways. So it really doesn't matter that much. And yeah, like companies and money sewage are really great, but we have so little construction and money. It's not going to be that big of a deal, I don't think. And definitely, like, if we don't have railways when we need them, it's going to be basically stopping all of our construction. It's just going to be stuck. Though, what do we need for the investment stocks exchange? Yeah, that would be pretty nice to have the investment agreements everywhere. Plus 10%! Let's keep going. Bear in mind, this entire time we have like 25-30%, now almost 40% just to get either a success or advance. We actually got one success, I didn't even notice. That's something at least, I guess. The debt is becoming a problem. I think I will have to stop construction for a second. Because even without this, we're going to be almost running out of money. So yeah, we'll build one more logging camp and then pause of construction for a bit. Oh no, I want a dedicated police force. That's too bad. Okay, let's pause construction for a bit. We are still losing money. Okay, so that's not great. Okay, good. Interest is rough. As a small nation, at least we are recognized, so that's something, but it's still pretty rough. Speed things up a little bit. There's surprisingly little happening in the world. I think this war ended up in the white piece, pretty sure. Yep. Even this movement disbanded. Okay. From hard to see. I mean, sure, more loyalists. Why not? And the character showed up. That's probably not going to be relevant anyways, so that's fine, I think. Can you get this? Okay, we got another success. I would really want something maybe a bit more meaningful, if at all possible, but I'm not going to be complaining that much. Yeah, those things would be nice, but we have 0 coal, and glass is not even close on our needs of priorities. I don't think we're using any hardwood, so I'm not sure why it's set on by default to be producing that. Yes, our market kinda sucks. We could be getting some more tools. And of course it would be ideal to import them maybe, but... yeah, we're spending actually most of our... the biggest expense of our bureaucracy is trade already, and probably not all of those are worth it. Yeah, paper, for example. We don't need paper and wood at this point, and I think I will just remove them. Yeah, much better. And apparently cloves as well, which is a bit surprising to me. Yeah, the swings, with such low numbers, the swings in market value are so high for trade routes, even the small amount is probably significantly changing the price. I'm not sure if it's showing me the correct numbers, because I've seen that those kind of tooltips can be a bit misleading in Victoria, unfortunately. We got another success, so we might just be getting it in a few days, which would be amazing. So currently the investment pool is getting 3.6, and I think immediately is going to be a huge increase. Not to mention the better price, reasonable price, which probably should be something we would go for. Which one? It's this one, right? Yeah, stocks exchange. Maybe I should go for it. This next one is so good. Paris Convention. What kind of power block is it? It's going to be interesting. And then go for railway, I guess. Yeah, a bit of a bad luck, we didn't get it spreading automatically. Which I think a decent chance of it happening. But they're also getting investment agreements with other Italians, would be pretty nice. Oh, that's nice about the clergy as well. They get the Devout Scandal event all the time, and you can just change the leaders when you want. We got traditionalist instead of moderate, so it doesn't change anything, but at least it's been nice. And this is pretty much free. I don't think it's going to be any significant change. Russia is guaranteeing my independence. Can I see what other people have in terms of leverage on me? Okay, it looks like Austria is going to have the most, but not that much anyways. It's a military treaty. Now that doesn't happen that often. And they would actually accept if I could join, but they have no leverage on me. Okay, another 15. Oh my god. Just pass it, please. God, sometimes the laws in this game make me kind of weak. No, Austria maybe could consider doing that. Setting no, it's not even that interesting, to be honest. Defensive pact? Maybe someone who's not Austria? Other Italians are okay, but not as important. Certainly Piedmont is actually kind of useful because they are quite strong, so... And making them like me is also quite useful. What the Americans are doing? Association of Syndicates. They are a trade league. But yeah, pretty much impossible. Is it? Currently it is very difficult to join AI's power block because I don't think they're that good in creating leverage over you, though Russia is certainly trying. Not exactly sure for what reason, but they are definitely trying. Greece, I assume, yeah, it's part of the Russian Empire already. It's going to be their protectorate within days. Greece is pretty much a freebie at the start of the game for Russia. Egypt is going for Ethiopia. Now that's kind of rare. And there hasn't been... Oh, there has been a war between Ottomans and Egypt. Really fast one. I haven't even noticed it. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. But they haven't taken what they need, actually, so that's going to maybe suck for them a little bit. They're going to make Margarine their tributary. Okay, interesting. Faith knows no borders. I mean, sure, making them like me a bit more, making Church a bit happier so I can get more babies again. That's fine. I was going to say that's what I was afraid was going to happen with the petition to the government when the rule of law showed up. But if they want me to pass what I've been trying to pass for the last 4 years, then yes, this is going to be perfect timing, and they're going to be so happy about that. I'm going to actually get infrastructure with them. This is actually, yeah, the old waste is probably one of the more punishing maluses you can get. Material waste is also pretty bad. Nice prestige is rough. Oh, we also got intensive agriculture, which is going to be interesting. Would be really nice, but we have no fertilizer. None at all. We could switch to this to get some fertilizer, actually, and we would be getting fabric as well. Though it's not going to be nearly enough to cover our wheat farms. Can we import it from someone in decent numbers? Seems like France has a good amount. But it has to be still bureaucracy and can't really afford that. How is the investment pool? That's actually... Oh, you can see it like increased 6 times. It's pretty significant, I have to say. Financial, we have first financial district. It is not making any money, though it is increasing rapidly. Oh yeah, this is a change. And this feels pretty good. We might need to just get the investment agreement just so we can spend our investment pool, because on our own it might be a bit difficult. What is the private market doing? Paper mills, that's fine actually. Do I just get additional bureaucracy building? For how long is this going to be a problem? Might be 7 months. Okay, so now that I got agrarianism, this is going to be the first cut of this campaign. So hopefully you enjoyed the first episode. A bit slow, just a few years, but that's what's going to happen when I start and talk about the setup of the nation we're starting with. So yeah, and see you guys in a bit.